The game starts long before the game starts. You get your gear right, your keyboard, your controller, your controller's controllers, and the keys to your keyboard. Because warm hands are faster hands. Gain the upper hand and power up your pregame warm-up with Zippo hand warmers.
And we finally made it to the very last map of our series on the day. It's nearest airport. It's Soniqs. It's 1-1 Dryad. We erase it all. We forget it all. And we go to the best map for best of ones. We set our eyes on Ascent. But before we get there, let's take a look at how our last map played out in way of rounds, in way of players. 13-8 the scoreline. Not as close as the map prior to this one, that being Fracture.
Still pretty close.
But still pretty close. And again, Soniqs, they looked a little out of steam. Then they started to whip it on. Unfortunately, it was just a little too late.
And you gotta wonder, right, how the adaptation would have been different if things turn out their way into the first half for Soniqs, but not being able to win any pistol rounds, and after that trying to take advantage, but being read so well by that aggression coming in for nearest airport, right? And we were just talking about it, but one of the reasons why nearest airport has been able to perform to this level, even if they lost that first map, has been Calypso. And you gotta wonder how many of those factors really stay between map number 1, map number 2, and now our third map. But Calypso's consistency on getting those frags and supporting the rest of the team has been there, so you have to expect that for Ascent.
Yeah, 100%. I think we mentioned, right, where the mental is after dropping 33 kills and losing. And the mental for Calypso was, I'm not losing this series. Even though map 1 ended the way that it did, like you said, he picks up right where he left off. And if he has to drag the team kicking and screaming across the finish line, he will. Fortunately, he didn't have to do that. And unlike what we saw earlier in the day, where Soniqs were able to capitalize in the post plant so well, nearest airport immediately started finding answers. They did not lose multiple rounds in a row to plants on A, where Nerve can play post plant, and then plants on B, where Nerve can play post plant, right? We immediately, the second time we saw that play, obviously Mina getting killed by the Hunter Shuri is a huge opening in this post plant retake for nearest airport. But then Precision to go on the full flank all the way through the attacker sided spawn to take the fight right to Nerve before the Viper can play the post plant lineups. I mean, that is just huge adaptation, and it threw a huge wrench into the Soniqs game plan, where they were expecting to be able to play a bit more passive and allow Nerve. They wanted to let him cook, and unfortunately, Precision said there's already enough chefs in this kitchen, so we don't need that. We don't need that any longer. But it does bring us to our final map. We take a peek once more at our MVPs. Both Jets were MVPs there at the end. We highlighted them going into Breeze because it's an agent that they're both comfortable on in JMO and Pure R. And now they have to keep it going. One more map. It's, again, the last chance here in the last chance qualifier for one of these teams.
And it just, like, my one concern here for this out of Soniqs is that it feels so similar to the match that nearest airport played before this one, right? Where it was they lost the first map in overtime, the second one they felt a little bit more dominant for this one specifically, and the third one it was also an Ascent that nearest airport won against 99 strength in a 13-5. 99 strength, the team that won against the Nation on this map yesterday. I mean, there's so many factors they need to take into account. And you see why that concern can take place for the side of Soniqs, but we know how comfortable they look when they're able to play their own game, so you're hoping that's the case if you're a fan of theirs.
Yeah, fortunately for Soniqs, though, although the way that the script has kind of been written, it looks like nearest airport do this whole rocky kind of Cinderella story, lose the first, win out, and continue to win on forward. This is a good map for Soniqs. This is a really good map for Soniqs. I believe they're, what is it, 6-2 out of the last 8 games that they've played. Both their attacking and defending side is really strong on this map, when we know that a lot of times Ascent can lean a bit more defender-sided, especially depending on the composition that you're running. And it's another one where they bring the Astra into it. And I love any map that you can play the Astra alongside the Killjoy and the KO that Soniqs are going to be bringing to this one, because you have so much stall, you have so much control around the map. And if there's any team inside the LCQ right now that have the ability to play these agents that you really need teamwork, it's Soniqs. They've been together the longest. They've been doing it together the longest. They're not just a team that kind of got placed together in the last couple of months maybe to try and qualify for this one. So I don't know. I don't think I would rather be on a different map. And again, a best of one scenario where it's a great map for both of these teams. It's arguably the best decider I think that we could have let through. I know that you and I were talking about Pearl, but seeing the way that Nearest Airport lost to Or Esports on Pearl, it was kind of a stomp. So it seems like they play against a stronger team there, and maybe things don't go their way. So it's gonna be a banger. It's gonna be a banger. Map number 3. We're just waiting on Agent Select to pop on up here to see what everybody's locking in. I don't expect any changes. As I said, for Soniqs, Astra, KO, I think Pure R is still going to be rocking the Jet. I know that there is some wiggle room. We did see some changes, actually, with Pure R playing a Sage earlier, and Ascent is a map where sometimes the Jet players will play the Sage. So we'll see if anything changes, but I think we should be seeing some pretty, I guess, stationary or stagnant comps coming into this.
The decision when we saw Soniqs playing that Sage on Bind was to try to create that delay going against the Nation, right? Having that read on them. But the question is if Soniqs had the same amount of preparation going against Nearest Airport and having the confidence they were able to play that Sage or try to change that composition a little bit more to go for that direct counter, right? And it's so difficult to take into account because, again, it's been so back and forth every single day. The amount of matches that they played in the past week or two is just not normal, not something that we see very often. But those are the decisions that you have to do and the matches that you have to play to make it all the way to the first split. And step by step they're making it close, but it's still a 1-1 in the map score, and we gotta see how Send is gonna turn out.
Yep, it's time to keep on keeping on as we've got the Agent Select ready for you guys to see what these two teams are going to be locking in as we make our way out towards Ascent. Again, this is pretty standard for both of these two teams. I've really been enjoying the way that Killjoy is just kind of been brought back to life in this meta because of the strength from her ultimate again. Yeah. But I'm wondering, because now it does take a little extra, if you can be perfect with the fragment from KO, you can counter the lockdown, or you can not be perfect and throw a shock dart on top of it. So I'm wondering if either of these teams, whether it be Giza and Precision or Shank and Rooney, if they've kind of put together some stuff to figure out ways to counter these Killjoy ults that have pretty much been set in stone, right? The placement of the ult isn't changing for Killjoy, right? Nothing changes. You've got the tree ult, you've got the A main ult, the B main ult. That's all the same. It's about how these teams are now adapting to that 200 HP lockdown.
Yeah, absolutely. And more than that, right? I feel like I've become a Killjoy enjoyer. Just watching. And it's crazy because I'm usually just all against Killjoy and Cypher. But watching it recently has been so interesting just because of the setups as well that we've seen throughout this tournament, specifically throughout this LCQ. Yesterday we saw it with 99 strength and the way that they were positioning the turret right around tree and trying to play for contact around that turret. And there's so many cool ideas that you can introduce for teams like this one and for a match like this one, right? Where these are the stakes.
Yeah, these are the stakes. We'll see who's put the server time in, and we'll see who's still got gas in the tank between Soniqs and Nearest Airport as we kick things off here on Ascent. It's the last map for one of these teams. For the other, they live to fight another day, and it's Calypso to take some early damage out towards A main. Garners the information that the Jet is playing here, and Pure R has big shoes to fill here on this map.
No pistol round so far for this head of Soniqs on this matchup specifically. Can they change the story? Can they change the narrative? Calypso gonna take that first contact, a scary one as well, but shot down by Shunk. 3 kills so far, 2 remaining for this head of Nearest Airport. They're split, 1 around tree. Nerf should be able to catch Akrian here. It's a good opportunity around precision. Last one alive.
He's got time, but he doesn't have a whole lot to work with. He's just been suppressed, so his position has been noted. Now he can only hope to find some frags, stack up the alt orbs, get that null command online and nice and early, and he might do so. Good frag, making a force Shonk. Well, actually, force Shonk 6 feet under. That robot has been disabled, and so has the alarm bot. As Mina sits that one down. Turret also dealt with, not before finding a bit of damage. With 14 seconds. Caution to the wind here for precision. As he peeks through the nebula, he will fall. Nerve to collect that kill. And Soniqs to find their first pistol round of the series.
All right, it feels different now, and it's good to see for Soniqs being able to grab that pistol round and even going for the aggression, for that aggressive push. Expecting the exact same thing coming in from Nearest Airport, and that is what they've been able to do throughout this LCQ, even the Open Qualifier. Nearest Airport with so many of those creative ideas for the pistols for the second rounds, but Soniqs, the adaptation as well. Keep an eye on it. It might be scary if the lead gets too massive, and good KO knife coming in on both sides with 3 player spot, and this is all about the delay, right? We talked about the potential of seeing that Sage. Even if we don't have a Sage, there's so many ways to delay with this composition.
Not that this was an incredibly winnable round, but it just got a whole lot harder. Acrian peeked up to turret peak B main and got spammed by Rooney Sheriff down to 29 HP. So this Killjoy, not gonna be much more than a walking ward here for this Nearest Airport squad. As they stack up as 5, maybe looking to play Protect the President. Alarm bot available, but I don't think that's 200 credits that you want to use here in this round. Recon Bolt goes out. Reveal on to quite a few, but Mina getting run down, forced to back away. He'll be revealed himself, but no answer on the opposite side. None of these weapons awfully great when it comes... Yeah, 8 HP, by the way. Mina still collecting. He eventually falls, and well, the rest of the attack dealt with as Nerve swiftly makes his way onto the site. And Soniqs do good to only lose 1 here in their anti-eco.
And it looks so good as well for Mina. What a Sentinel player. And it's been incredibly consistent in so many different ways. Again, 8 HP. I could have sworn that Rooney was going to go down, then Mina, and then things get a little bit closer, but Soniqs not going to allow that to happen. 2-0 so far. 3rd map of the series. A long day for Nearest Airport, playing 3 maps in the first match. Playing 3 maps as well for the second match to guarantee they're able to stay alive here in this last chance qualifier. So any step they need to be extremely careful to take. Their rifles don't really guarantee too much. Spike on the floor, hoping for a peek coming in for Soniqs. Soniqs holding on to those positions as well, having that control of B as well, with all the Killjoy utility for Mina.
Cover going out.
And walk up catwalk, smoke is there. Mina trying to play, peek off the turret. But he gets sat down, no way. Rooney gets one through the wall. They try and deal with the recon bolt, but it's a second too late. Now the crunch onto the speed site, and Rooney has to hold it all by himself. Nah, not like this. We didn't get the Rooney Sheriff in the map prior, but we get it right here when it matters most. And Nerve there with the backstab. 2 kills with that Spectre found. Now Giza's got to cut a rug. It takes 2 to tango, and there's 4 players left, 3 on the opposite side. The operator
doesn't know.
Has fallen. Both players on. Fragment to buy some time, buy some space. Shock darts come through. Shonk can eat the first. Backing away from it now. Recon Bolt goes out. This should allow for the spam. But there's a bounce on it, and Nerve capitalizes for 3 kills on the round.
Oh, and I mentioned it, right? The rifles don't really mean anything when the stakes are this high, and when you're going against Soniqs on Ascend. It's so scary to deal with. I mean, Nerve awake once again. We saw a couple things happening on Breeze, but this is a different story. 7-0 on those kills. Having that ultimate too. Having that Cosmic Divide to support the defense just a little bit more. And it might not be need it yet. Look at the force as well for Nearest Airport. Oh, they're committed to getting something here, and it was going to be an aggressive push, but JMO goes down. Mina.
Wow. I mean, the team play.
God.
If there was ever a moment that you thought somebody was in trouble on the side of Soniqs,
Nope.
somebody else is there to help him out. It's been Nerve the past 2 rounds. This time it's Mina to make sure Pure R doesn't drop the op. Unfortunately, he sacrifices himself as a shot through the wall. Finds damage, not the kill, and Rooney there to capitalize on the chipped away Giza. In a 4th round for Soniqs. Nearest Airport, they got to show us something. They're going to have rifles in their hands, but we need to see some life behind it.
And it's interesting, right? Because when we think about Nearest Airport, what we've seen today, and the players have been really stepping up for this team. We talk about Calypso, but when they play this map against 99 Strength, this was more of the Omen kind of plays that we would expect, and in the KDA that we would expect for the Omen, playing a little bit more passive, trying to get that support with the paranoia, maybe not able to play those forward positionings that we've seen in other maps and in other scenarios. So that means that everybody else from Nearest Airport is gonna have to step up as well, taking that early timeout too, as they've been consistently doing throughout the series.
Now, 6 of 7 timeouts called by Nearest Airport. Good ultimates for retake or for stall here on the side of Soniqs. We'll see if they've got the read on what Nearest Airport want to do here in this next round. I guess the best thing going into this full buy again for Nearest Airport, they've also got themselves the Hunter's Fury. So as soon as Mina gets that lockdown through, Giza will be the counter. But we'll see if Giza can hang on to that ultimate for long enough.
This is all about the mental games that are left, right?
Here.
You know, there's gonna be a turret. You know, there's gonna be someone peeking. There's no way Akron goes down. Quick reaction as well for Pure R. Numbers advantage so early on. There's so many opportunities here for Soniqs to work out, but they might just get away with it.
Right here.
After the first one, after the Sentinels, the Killjoy goes down.
And it feels just so hopeless, right? Calypso has space in A main up to Wine, but for what? Not really a whole lot going on there. There's still a microwave set up here. I don't know if Mina... Okay, Mina pops the microwave actually to stall before he gets suppressed, and now we'll continue to hold that angle as the blind comes through. The paranoia for the near side. JMO gonna go up top, uncheck his nerve. He finds the first, can't quite find the next, but Mina here to capitalize. Oh my goodness, the grinder. They're just tossed right in and they come out minced.
Oh, there's no way. What can you do in that scenario, right? The patience as well to play for Nerve. You try to get it and managing actually to get one. And that's how it felt for Sonic so far. Those 5 rounds that we've seen, there's always someone on the other side able to support, able to play for that cross, able to trade for them. And play for this ace side even. Nearest Airport, once again, not finding an answer. Now actually having to go for the save round. No way. It happens again. Even faster.
Again? You let that happen?
Yeah.
It seems like Nearest Airport, they're boomed at this point. Acreon just making that same mistake 2 times in a row, challenging the angle, and Pure R, I mean, is online.
It is what you love to see, right? And for this tournament, there's so many of those duelist players that we've seen, those aggressive players that have been having difficulty getting the opening frag. It's usually somebody else in so many of these rounds, but now Pure R ready to react in time. Gets a second one as well, as if the first one wasn't enough, and the rest of the team should take care of Giza and Calypso. The last one's alive here, one of them getting spotted by the turret, giving away all that space towards mid, and because of this, because they're expecting them on site, it's such a good setup with the Killjoy to guarantee potentially one more round here for Soniqs.
Remaining.
Man, Giza tried to do what he could. Unfortunately, 1 kill wasn't enough. That operator, it keeps falling from the hands of Pure R, but fortunately they had 2. They had an extra nice little buy one, get one. You take a look back at it, Pure R. I said it on Breeze. I thought Pure R's having a pretty good start. 7-5 at one point, kind of leading the team in frags. Unfortunately, things started to go downhill for Soniqs very quickly. But we take a look at it this time around, and 4 kills, but they've all been so impact onto Acreon, who means a lot for the team, especially when it comes to post-plant, and they've been right at the start of these rounds.
And I was gonna say, right, this is all about the mental games of who's gonna use those ultimates, but I mean, you get that information, Rooney gets 1, Calypso goes down.
That would have been a shot. That would have been a shot. Unfortunate, Rooney had 3 lined up, but they were just out of range out toward tiles. So the Hunter Shuri, only good for that 1 kill. Although they were probably hoping for some more. They don't get it. Now up towards mid. They take care of the alarm bot. They'll drone their way through, but the door is closed. So if they want to, they have to shoot that one down or push all the way through spawn where 2 defenders here of Soniqs are watching and waiting, and they know.
Yeah, I mean, where else are you gonna go, right, on this attacking side? There's only so many possibilities, and there's a reason why. This defense gets and allows the mid control to be taken just for a little bit because they're able to answer back. Make sure that the site will still belong to them. Especially after the first pick, right? There's no
30
smokes.
seconds left. Recovering it.
Oof. Nerve. Oh, some interesting timing. Recalls the smoke. Is able to find the kill. Can't quite find the second as JMO grabs one of his own. Acreon gonna put down the alarm bot. Get that door closed as JMO goes aggressive up towards heaven. He's met by Rooney. And swiftly dealt with, promptly, I should say, as Rooney's got 3 on the round, and Precision has 5 HP to try and win this round. But the spike is planted. Shock darts, they've been dodged. Precision, a Herculean effort is what it takes. Unfortunately, he's no god. He'll fall to the hands of Mina.
Remember as well, nearest airport, they already took a timeout here. They tried to adapt, they tried to play different. This one around gave them more kills, but still not the rounds. No rounds to be found against this squad of Soniqs. Have been so patient, have been playing those mental games to perfection, into knowing that they were the first players, right, to get those ultimates going, and yet still decide to hold on to them, hold on to the Cosmic Divide. Things haven't forced anybody to invest the ultimates. Now nearest airport is gonna finally have that lockdown that they've been waiting for. Can it give them that space though? 3 players towards this B site, trying to make some noise.
And Giza's been very patiently holding on to that Hunter's Fury. Mina hasn't quite needed their lockdown, so it hasn't been necessary. Like you mentioned, a win condition, Acreon having a lockdown of their own. And Rooney very far from the Hunter's Fury, so unless they've got some crazy setup, Pure are gonna keep the aim warm and taking down that turret. Here comes
The lockdown, yeah.
the lockdown. I'm not in love with this. Try it, make it make sense, please. I mean, there's still 3 defenders here on the A site, and everybody's been revealed. 4 players here. Shank just gonna hold it down. Decapitates 1, finds the next, make it 3 as Nerve will find the 4th, and another full house to the sheets. Flawless for Soniqs.
And that was just so clean. The lockdown, the one ultimate the nearest airport has been waiting for the longest time. And it just doesn't really get any value, right? You use it, you try to take that mid control as well to push into side, but that's a mid control that they've had before by just pushing forward, trying to get that information themselves, playing around the owl drone that gets invested. And the lockdown just gets absolutely nothing. 8 rounds here for Soniqs. Kill knife. Scores market Pure R. It doesn't matter though. We'll be able to get that first one. It's an eco. Managing to get 2. Good opportunity. It can side of nearest airport make it happen.
Spike planted. One enemy remaining.
And no way it's gonna be the eco. The 3 players here. Sean trying to answer back, and finally the eBay Thrifty will come through for nearest airport to give him the first round of this 3rd map. But it took absolutely everything here. A good positioning finally for Calypso that he's been fighting to get towards mid. Catching one of the players off guard. And trying to get just a little bit more again. Timeout was already invested for nearest airport, and you already know the advantage here. First half is not going to be possible. But at what point is Soniqs willing to take that forward position? Use that lockdown for themselves. I mean, Killjoy just has absolutely everything Mina. On this B side, there's no way you're making it through. It's because you know that there's a Jet. There's a KO on the other side. Have been working out so well. This is what was lacking for the set of Soniqs on that map number 2. And it's all fixed now. Hunter's Fury coming through. We'll get that lockdown destroyed, but the pigs are the one thing missing here. Nearest airport, they finally get control of site. They've been fighting for it round after round, but Spike finally planted. Retake scenario here with Pure R and an operator in the hands of this Jet. It's traded early on. Has to grab a rifle here.
One enemy remaining.
Knows that the time is on the other side. And he finally goes down. Could be the start of something here for nearest airport as they finally make it to 2 rounds for them. One more time out here. Seems like should be coming through for Soniqs. 8 is already pretty good, but I mean, you can take it to 9, you can take it to 10 even. With a no command coming through on that B side potentially. Even the Nerf Cosmic Divide that we've been waiting for such a long time, and there really just hasn't been a need. Is round after round after round that has gone this side of Soniqs. A team that, when you look back, when you look at the teams that qualified last weekend, it seems like all the friends of Soniqs had already qualified for that split that we're gonna be seeing very soon. And Soniqs, the one team remaining, can they make it happen? Nearest airport as well, a team that we know so well now for a couple months, even if the core doesn't quite look the same. With a huge potential to turn things around after a long adaptation that has been taking place. But this is not something that they had to face before. A disadvantage like this one.
Here.
Dryad, you are my hero.
Hey, Tanner.
Here.
Dryad, you are my hero. I had the worst audio issues in the world, and my computer went kaput, but we're back now, and so are nearest airport. They've got themselves 2 rounds. Pure R gonna battle it out towards mid. He's good for his 1, but eventually he becomes the 2nd. So a 1-for-1 trade thus far. It's been a damage traded back and forth between Rooney and Akrian as well. But nearest airport seemingly wrapping their heads around how to deal with this Soniqs defense.
Pure R had some really good moments like that one on Breeze, where you get the freeze opening, then you get traded, unfortunately, and it's just keeping in check this Jet play, right? Making sure that you're not overheating too much to get that first blood. And it feels like it can be a concern, even though both of the Jets now are down. But you don't want to lose the massive advantage that Soniqs has had in the beginning of this first half. Utility here trying to be enough, Chunk pushing forward towards Catwalk. Calypso goes down. It's a 4v3. Spike yet to be planted. Nerf playing so far back. Are they expecting the Astra to be
remaining.
here? Absolutely
Spike
not.
down,
And
B.
one by one, Nearest Airport go down.
Yeah, Nerve. I mean, opening it up.
Last
Opening
round
it
before the
right
switch.
up. Now 9-3 is all that Nearest Airport can hope for. Looks like they'll be able to muster up some sort of a buy across the board. It's good utility, good rifles, shields for the most part. What a shot. I mean, JMO just missed his, unfortunately. It just narrowly missed. A good tag from the drone, though, allowed Giza to recollect that kill. And unfortunate that the JMO of old, the one that we saw in Breeze, hasn't quite made an appearance here. 0 point goes out. Blades are online for JMO, and he's unaffected. So he'll still have these knives available as he sets his eyes out towards mid. This time, the switch-up is 2 stars and an alarm bar inside B main, and that turret is actually going to hold that pizza position. So it'll allow for a deep walk-up mid from this attacking side of Nearest Airport, but eventually that'll be sniffed out just like this. Shonk's got to go.
On right with Lab, but Pure R still answering in time, though. For the first one, too, and this is exactly what we saw a couple rounds ago.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Okay, well, one pick here for Akron. Things get a little messy, but it's fine. Soniqs, double digits on the first half.
Double digits on the first half, and I mean, again, not the top frag by any means, I'm pretty sure, but Pure R, you put an op in this guy's hand, you put him on Ascent and on Jets, and he just looks so darn good. It really feels like it kind of took those 2 games for Soniqs to re-warm up to this series and to this Nearest Airport team. You kind of mentioned it coming into this game, where I think it might have been going into Breeze, where you said, you know, there was a lot of time spent, an entire night spent prepping for the nation. But for Soniqs to have to prep for either 99 strength and Nearest Airport, they probably didn't get too much done in way of trying to figure out these teams. And now that we're 3 maps into it, it seems like Soniqs have the read. Now, there is still an attacking side for Soniqs. They need to find 3 rounds to close us out, and defense can be a bit easier sometimes here on Ascent. We'll see how much easier it can be as that turret. I mean, JMO finally puts it down, but holy, it gets heaps of damage. But, okay, damage traded for a kill. That's not too bad.
Pure R going down here. The hands of Calypso. Now this attacking side making that rotation, knowing the Killjoy is going to be close. It's not going to have all the utilities set up towards tree, but it's going to be on site. And that means that rotation can actually take place for the defense. Try to make things even. A lot of them took damage, but still not the kills. And now it was just a matter of time. Second pistol round. And the ones that matter the most, they belong to Soniqs. They make it to 11.
Yeah, you said it. The ones that matter the most. And we've seen this situation before. Nearest Airport, they're going to be forced to force for the entire game here. They lose this round, they'll be forcing up Stingers, light shields into the next. Sonic should be privy to this, that this is really the only way back into the game. It's not to save and give up round number 12 over to this attacking side. So we'll see how they decide to play this one, knowing that there could quite possibly be Stingers in the hands of the defense.
Feels like we've seen so many of these forces today, but okay, for Nearest Airport. They make them work out for the first ones as well. Just have Soniqs shut down two of the more aggressive players that this team has. I caught noise here, but a smoke is going to be available. The push going to be so much more difficult. Still annoying. The positioning here for everybody else. The door gets closed. I want to see how Nearest Airport is able to play around here. They get the first picks, but then what?
Yeah. Then what? Can they continue to capitalize on this round that they try to make theirs? A player ahead. couple of smokes. A smoke tossed out mid-sight here. Gonna jump on into it. That being Calypso, but Rooney was ready for it. 3 kills on the round as Mina cuts down one more. Holding down Mouse 1. Wasn't enough for Rooney. But Mina, however, will capitalize. And once more, a full house. 3 for Rooney, 2 for Mina, and 12 for Soniqs. I mean, this could be it. 13-3 on the horizon.
Yeah, this really could be it. And there's something I wanted to talk about, right? You talked about it from the beginning of today. When we were looking at Soniqs and the Nation, about Rooney and how this player is usually playing so aggressive, even as the AGL. Being able to get those frags, and it seems like finally on this third map, we're seeing it. 17-4 on Ascent. And you're not seeing the crazy multi-kills coming in for Rooney, but you're often seeing kind of that support that he's able to give. The rotations that he was able to enable thanks to that utility on the defensive side. And now just having to do a little bit more, one more round for Soniqs to move forward until the last chance qualifier. It's been so back and forth. It's been a crazy lower bracket run, but they were able to stay alive. And it seems like they could be taking Nearest Airport out of this tournament.
And I mean, good on them, right? Using every tool that they have in the toolbox here to try and hang on. The buy didn't seem the worst. It looked like a couple of light shields and bulldogs behind it. Yeah, it's not stingers by any means, but it's also, you know, not 3 vandals and 2 specters with heaps of utility. Precision's going to be hoping to find some heads with that Marshall. One player spotted out towards the catwalk, that being Calypso. So they'll be smokeless for the next few seconds. As Soniqs paying a lot of respect, understanding that after this timeout, Nearest Airport might be up to something funky. So they play it slow.
You just have to take anything here. It is so difficult, right? The positioning here for Nearest Airport, even trying to get a trade. An early contact here early on. Actually gonna get spotted and shot down. This could be the start of a disaster for the fans of Nearest Airport. Quickly gets traded here, but site already belonging for the side of Soniqs. Spike is gonna get planted. Retake for Nearest Airport. No rifles in their hands.
Cover going up.
Nearest Airport, they gotta go. The clock is ticking. Rooney looking to go aggressive. Decapitate his counterpart in Giza. Good flash out on the outside. Sean gonna try and help Nerve, keep him alive, but Precision and JMO, they're battling back and again. The corners, they go uncleared. The run and gun, only good for 1 as Mina, the last one standing against JMO. Taps on the spike for just a second. The spray is there. The shots are better, and Soniqs will do it. They add a 6th head on the wall in their run in the lower bracket. They send Nearest Airport packing, and they live to fight another day.
What a run that we've seen for Soniqs today. With the players, with the matches that they had. The day as well, so long for them, but they shut down the Nation and they shut down Nearest Airport too. We're having such a good run early on, but when it comes down to this map, it's a completely different story. The read was so good. They did it to the Nation, they do it to Nearest Airport, and they move forward in this lower bracket run. And again, only 2 spots are available to make it into the Challengers split. And it seems like slowly but surely Soniqs is making their way through.
Slowly but surely is right. The Nation sent them down to the lower bracket so early. And this was their 6th series spent there. Sending each and every team home. Getting that rematch with the Nation earlier on the day. Sending them packing. Now doing the same in a 3-map series against Nearest Airport. We've got the stats on the series here for you guys. And Soniqs fans, I mean, a sigh of relief after that map number 2. After a grueling map number 1. They completely 180. Everybody's able to do their part. This map of Ascent, you can see why they're 6-2 out of their last 8 in January. Now adding a 7th to that one. So 7 out of 9. And this one, a dominant victory over a very strong Nearest Airport, who unfortunately just seemed to run out of steam after a 3-map series in the last one, and now a 3-map series in this one. That started with a 30-round map 1.
And that is maybe the craziest thing about it, right? How that first map turned out with so many overtimes after overtime after overtime until it finally closed out, and still pushes to that third map to guarantee Soniqs will continue to move forward. And it was just so good. Everybody stepped up for this last map. They knew the stakes, and we've talked about it. They know how much they want to make it and how much they want to continue moving and pushing forward. It's so crazy to think about. All the tweets that we've seen from players recently about how they get shot down, they get eliminated in that loser's bracket, and how much that has been just Soniqs absolutely destroying and adapting and changing everything that they need to in the best way possible. I think for Nearest Airport, we knew it was going to be a close match. We saw it being a close match all the way into the third map. And one of the things that leaves me thinking, right, is the first match that we saw today, even. When we saw this out of Soniqs going against the Nation, and how the Nation have only lost matches against teams that qualified. And it feels like for Soniqs, it could be that story, right? We still have to figure it out. There's still more to play. There's at least 2 more days here. This last chance qualifier, but they're making it happen, and the adaptation that we've seen for Soniqs is not something that anybody and any team can do. This is a Soniqs thing.
This is a Soniqs thing. And I think what bodes very well for this team, actually, first and foremost, before I go down this route, shout outs to Nearest Airport, a team that really started to kind of turn some heads in previous months, making some changes and bringing a lot of good players who probably didn't live up to or didn't get the spotlight that they deserved in previous. And now they're doing just that. Calypso with standout performances today. JMO looking like the JMO of old. Giza doing their darndest. Acrean, probably not a name that we've seen floating around all that much, but really having standout performances throughout the entire weekend.
Everybody,
as that Sentinel player. So Nearest Airport, again, a handful of players that absolutely will have a future in this Valorant scene in one way or another. So thank you for being as great as you are, Nearest Airport, and thank you for joining us and allowing us to tell your story here in this. But unfortunately, that page has been turned, and we go right back to this ginormous 800-page book that is the lower bracket run for the Soniqs, and they get to try again in 2 days, right? I'm pretty sure tomorrow we're going to be picking up back in that winners between Squirtle Squad and Or Esports. And the loser of that one's going to be playing Soniqs. And if we learned anything from the first series of the day against the Nation, Soniqs do pretty darn good when they have the ability to prep against a team. And they're going to be watching pretty directly the matches that happen tomorrow. As we allude to those matches tomorrow, unfortunately, we are done for the day. But Dryad, I want to give you any last moment, or I want to give you a moment for any last words here as we saw for what we saw on the day and what you're expecting for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the one thing that stays on my mind, right, is how brutal those brackets really are, because you want to get the best of the best for the 12 teams that we're going to be seeing, right? And it's not the easiest thing to watch. And if you're one of the fans for Nearest Airport, of the Nation, and all the teams that have been eliminated, you don't want to see them lose. But it is on the other side, everybody fighting, everybody having the same passion to make it through and to go against the best of the tier 2 that we're going to be seeing very soon. So I definitely want to keep an eye on what is going to go down tomorrow and the day after to finalize those teams that will make it.
Yep, 2 more teams, 2 more days to qualify for our Challenger circuit. That's just around the corner. But as we said, today comes to a close. Tomorrow we get started 6 p.m. Eastern, just like we did today. You can catch us right here. We should only have one stream going for you guys. That's going to be Squirtle Squad taking on Or Esports. But before we head off, we want to give another shout out to our friends over at eBay, Setex, Sheets, and Zippo for helping us put these events on. And in the meantime, you guys have got some time. If you guys are looking for any new gaming tech, you can save up to 50% off the latest gear over at eBay with free shippings on top brands like Microsoft, Razer, HyperX, and more. You can find everything you need at the right price. And you guys can check out the deals over at pks.gg/eBay. Again, 50% off the top brands, guys. It's a no-brainer. Free shipping, free return. So if you don't like it, you can send it right back. So shout out eBay. Shout out to the rest of the friends that help us put this on. And as for us here, on behalf of myself, the entire production crew, we want to thank you guys for being awesome. In the chat, we want to thank the teams that allowed us to tell your story up until today. The story continues tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. Squirtle Squad or Esports. We'll catch you then.
Three.
One enemy remaining. Player standing. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
I will see you.